Well, everyone, Apple released their event. They also released the release candidate of iOS 14.5. Now, this is pretty much what we're going to be seeing, and I actually installed it on a majority of my iPhones. They were all in beta forms, and I installed it on all these iPhones as well. And what I can tell you is that for these older iPhones, even for my newer ones like my iPhone 11, my iPhone 12s, this is a solid update that has been in the beta for a very long time. Now, let me start off with something like an iPhone 6s. This is the oldest iPhone that actually supports iOS 14.5. And what's super incredible is that it's been a pretty stable experience overall. Now, first of all, starting off with the first beta, it was a rocky road. I'll be the first one to admit it. For these older iPhones, especially, the 6S was running into a lot of issues, specifically with the battery life and overheating. Since then, it's actually been a really, really big improvement coming from, I think, the early betas. I think around like beta 3, that's when things started kind of rolling around, and that's when I started talking about it. But there are still some issues. As you just saw, this battery percentage just went down from like 99 to 97, now to 96. It's still a little weird. Apple, I think, with 14.5 also rolled out a battery percentage thing. Now it's like 95. It's crazy how these things work. And it's just now gone down to 94. So there's still a lot of issues. But I think overall, it's getting a little bit better over time. And it's actually pretty crazy how fast this battery life is going down. I mean, that's one thing that is just so crazy. I think it is because I just updated it. So this could be one thing. But it's weird. It's like every second there's like a percentage going down. It's so funny. Now, if this is actually what the full version is going to look like when it officially comes out, it's going to be really interesting because a lot of people are going to complain about that. But let me show you this. If I go into my battery, we'll go ahead and figure this out right now. If I go here, and if I go down, and if I go and click on battery health, you can see I'm at 72%. So it is definitely not that great of a battery life, or battery health for that matter. But this release candidate, if this is actually officially what it is on my iPhone 6s, I'm going to be kind of sad because this battery percentage should not be going down this fast. It should be going down, like it should be at still like 99%, even with a 72%, down thing. It's been 2 minutes. So I've only been recording this video for like 2 minutes and it's already down to 88%. So I think that's pretty insane. So with the 6S specifically, it's really not that good so far for the release candidate. But the previous beta was better than this one. My battery percentage was not going down this fast. So that's it for my iPhone 6S. Now for my iPhone 7, it may be a little bit of a different story. Now with this device, it's been a progress coming from like I mentioned, like beta 3, beta 4. It definitely isn't like the best version of software for it, but I think when you factor in everything that's coming with the next version of iOS with 14.5, you're getting a lot more different capability. I think you got new wallpapers not too long ago either. So this device is definitely going to be knocking it out of the park when it comes down to 14.5. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to be a better software overall. I think coming from, like I mentioned with my 6S, you're going to be getting a phone that has way more features. And I think if you have an iPhone 7, this is the better way to go. iOS 14.5 is going to be solid. As you saw with my iPhone 6s, the battery life was being very strange. Luckily, I'm still at 100% on my iPhone 7. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to be 100% for all my versions of software. For now, I'm probably going to say that with the iPhone 7 specifically, it's probably going to be a smooth road. Right now on the release candidate, I will probably say it's going to be more solid than the previous beta, but for my iPhone 6s, it seems like it actually was a little bit less stable coming from the battery life perspective. But right now on my iPhone 7, everything seems solid. It's been solid since, like I mentioned, beta 3, beta 4. So right now, I will say on the iPhone 7, I think it's overall going to be a pretty decent update. And by the time it comes out next week, I think it's going to be a solid update for sure. Now, finally ending it off with one of my favorite iPhones ever, which is the iPhone 8. As you guys know, this is like one of my favorite iPhones ever. It's still a very good value in my opinion. Of course, it's not perfect, especially this one, it has a cracked back. But I think for a majority of things you're going to do, it's going to be a solid device. Now with the iPhone 8 and with iOS 14.5, as I've mentioned before, it is a work in progress. It's not the best version of software ever made, as most of you may know, but it is a worthwhile upgrade in my opinion. First of all, with 14.5, you are getting a lot more features built in, and you guys probably already know that, but the stability aspect, especially on a release candidate, like this is pretty much what you're going to be getting on the full version of iOS 14.5, which is coming out next week. Now that is a very, very important thing to keep in mind. And with my iPhone 6s, as you guys saw, the battery percentage was going down an insanely amount faster than all the other devices that I've ever tested. It was very strange. Right now on my iPhone 8, you can see we're still at 50%, and I think that is going to be the biggest problem for all these iPhones. even on my iPhone 12s, my iPhone 11s, the battery percentage and the battery life is going to be one of those things that's not going to be that great on iOS 14.5. From what I've seen, even from the early betas, it's just been one of those things. But I will say, if you have an iPhone 8, you're probably gonna, the battery life is probably not even that great to beginning with. And I'm totally joking, we shouldn't be updating to get worse battery life or anything. But I will say, if you have an iPhone 8, 14.5 will probably end up being more stable, and you're going to be getting way more features and that privacy feature that's added as well. But my biggest downside with this update is probably, when it comes down to the whole entire battery percentage aspect. That is one thing that's freaking me out. I will have to look into it a little bit further. But as of right now, that's pretty much how these older iPhones and how iOS 14.5 is going to be holding up on basically all these iPhones for the most part. Like I mentioned, iOS 14.5 on my iPhone 11 and on my iPhone 12 has been a pretty decent experience, but this is the release candidate. This is what we should be seeing when the official version comes out, and I guess we'll just see what happens next week. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly, everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.